Hello people of YouTube.
Sake. You know when you've got so many things to do and you just don't know where to start, so you spend so much time procrastinating, thinking about where you need to start that you don't actually start? That is very much how I'm feeling today. I feel like I'm currently sat amongst utter chaos. I've got so many planty things that need doing. I feel like pretty much every single one of my plants in some capacity needs something doing to it. For some of them it's just like a water, but there's just a lot to get through and I'm finding it a little bit overwhelming this morning. So really, I think what I need, and I think what's often very good, is just to have a little bit of a reset and to just kind of wipe the slate clean and feel like I don't know, just kind of getting myself back to a level where I feel like things are manageable again, because I don't know why, sometimes when I take a little bit of time away from my plants, which I have just done because I've just got back from holiday, sometimes I find getting back into the flow of caring for them quite difficult, and I don't exactly know why that is. But yeah, I think just having a bit of a reset would be a really good thing for me to do. So that is what we're going to be doing today. I'm not sure if this is going to be just like a one-day video. I'm not sure how much I'll get through today. I might kind of take you through things the whole week. We will see how we get on. But yeah, that is the plan. Oh, and also there's a massive bumblebee in here. I have spent like 45 minutes trying to get him out and he doesn't want to leave, so we're going to pray I don't get stung, and he is going to be joining us for today's video. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name's Claire and this is Yoli. I make videos all about houseplant care, sharing tips and tricks I've learned over the years to help keep your plants happy and healthy. And yeah, so today's video is going to be very much dealing with stuff, getting on top, and hopefully feeling really refreshed by the end of it. So as always, if you've got planty stuff to do as well, or anything at all that you've been putting off and struggling to do, let this be your sign. We can do it together. And yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Let's get into it. So I feel like a good starting point for today's video is probably going to be this corner just here, just because these are plants that I do neglect quite a bit, and I feel bad saying that, but they are ones that just get very overlooked. I feel like often when I do plant choresy things in videos, I'll start and kind of work to there and then finish. And I've got my big Philodendron Splendid here, I've got my Jose Bueno, and I have a feeling there might be some pesty things going on. So I'm going to just start by getting all the plants there out, giving them a check over, probably giving them a wipe down and a shower down, just to like feel like I get a little on top, wipe down the surfaces, all the stuff that I usually put off basically. Also, I've got the fan running and I'm hoping you're going to be able to hear me okay. It is so warm today. If you're in the UK, then you'll know, like, these last few days have been ridiculously muggy. Like, I think I said it in my last video, but we were joking saying that it's actually warmer here in the UK at the moment than it was when we were in Lanzarote. It's just a bit much. So yeah, I'm going to pull everything out, have a look at it, and we can go from there. Really need to figure out a better system here. I know my Philodendron Jose Bueno should be on a moss pole, and I know I keep saying that, but I've currently just staked it with a bamboo cane, and because it always flops over because the plant is so top heavy, I've just tied the bamboo cane to the basket to try and get it upright, and it's not working well. So I think I'll probably, I don't know, I was going to say find a stronger stake. I don't even have everything I need to make a moss pole, so this is going to be probably a bit of a DIY job today, but I'm going to start with just untying it and letting it loose, and then thinking of a plan from there. Yeah, and also because it's a bamboo cane and I've had it in semi-hydro, as you can see, it has just started to rot, and I shouldn't have done that really. But this is what I'm left with. A very big plant that is currently completely unsupported. So I'm gonna lean it up against the side here for the time being. Oh, it wants to lean. Does it want to lean? No, it doesn't want to lean. No! Okay. No, it's just gonna forward face. And then yeah, I will probably dive into the cupboard of chaos and see what I've got that I might be able to make do with working. I don't know if you can see from there, in fact I think you can, but look how much my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma is growing. This one is just growing at the most insane rate at the moment. In fact, I'll bring you over so you can see a little bit better. But yeah, I said before I went away that this one was almost touching the ceiling. And literally, since I've got back, I've had to kind of train it to go around there because it's given me, I think, about 7 leaves in the last couple of weeks, which is just ridiculous. And again, it's another one I'm like, I could trellis it, I could put it onto a moss pole, but I kind of just like the way it free climbs like this. I think it looks kind of cool. So I think for the time being, it seems very happy there. It's one that could definitely do with having a pot upgrade at some point, but I feel like for the next like week or so, while I'm getting on top of everything else in this room, it's not a top priority. But yeah, no, I'm very happy with how it's doing. And also, another Ross little creation. Look what he made to sit on one of the speakers. Isn't that adorable? I was gonna say as well, also finally, Ross has started an Instagram page for his little creations and he's like posting some of those over there. So I will link that in the description box below this video because I know some of you guys have been asking about like little planty things he's been making and stuff. They're really awesome and I'm really happy that he's showcasing them a little bit. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna leave that as is. I know it needs a water, but it's everything else in this corner that I was a little bit more concerned about. So I'm just gonna start off by giving everything a bit of a pest check, just kind of looking over fronts, backs of leaves, seeing if I can see anything menacing, and then we'll take it from there. Found the culprit. I knew there was something going on in this area. So it's not awful, but let me just adjust the camera so I can show you. This leaf here has been a little bit curly for a while, and like the plant doesn't typically curl in this way if it is dehydrated, so I just kind of uncurled it to have a look. And that there is spider mite damage, and spider mites are the things that I am typically struggling with the most at the moment. And I've actually just ordered a load of diatomaceous earth that's going to be here tomorrow. So I think I'm probably going to go around and just sprinkle some over pretty much everything because I have used that before for spider mites and it's been really, really effective. But yeah, I can't see any major damage on any of the other leaves. I feel like that is the main one that's affected, but obviously seeing as it's been in that corner with all the other plants, I think I'm going to shower them all down and give them all a treatment with horticultural soap just to be on the safe side. So yeah, I'm going to take them all through to the very warm bathroom and give them a shower down. Another spider mighty one that's actually been in the bathroom since before we went away is this one. This is Ross's Calathea ornata. And this one has had spider mites about 5 or 6 times now, and we just haven't been able to get them completely gone. And I think this time, because it has got so bad, I think probably what the best thing to do is to lock all of the foliage back, give the plant a repot, and then just essentially regrow it. That's the best way that I found for calatheas when things do get beyond the point of just being like 1 or 2 when it does become an infestation. And I know I absolutely should deal with this like urgently, but I'm gonna try and stay on track and work around the ones that I've kind of set aside to do first, and then I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna put this, in fact, I'm gonna put it on the other side of the bathroom to remind myself to come back to it. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going with the ones that I initially set out to because I get distracted so easily. But yeah, my Philodendron Splendid has been absolutely blitzed. I'm going to actually put it on the balcony now, I think, just to kind of like air dry, because I often say if you've got velvet leaf plants, they're basically just much more prone to issues like mold and mildew if you don't allow them to have good airflow when you've got the leaves wet. Hence why a lot of people say like don't mist them in an indoor environment and stuff like that if you don't have good airflow. So yeah, seeing as it's a beautiful day, I'm going to put it outside and then I'm going to bring the others through. Oh God, I've just heard a really bad noise. Hi, Yuli. Oh, for Pete's sake. I knew that wasn't stable. I was just starting to bring all the other plants through and I've just noticed that it's fallen. No. Okay, let's see how bad the damage is. Very lucky. The plant is actually fine. I thought that could have been really bad. I've just propped it up at a more secure angle because that could have been a lot worse. But bless Yoli's obviously got a bit scared by it. Yoli, come here. She doesn't like any kind of loud noise. Come here, baby. Oh, bless her. Look at her creeping in. Come here, baby. Hello. Hello. You're such a silly girl. It's absolutely fine. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Nothing to worry about. Been looking for what I could use for the Philodendron Jose Bueno, and I've got this which is like just like a cheap bog standard coir pole, and it's not ideal, but if I'm literally looking for something to stake, I'm not even sure it's going to be tall enough, but we're going to try this as option 1, I think. Already looking at this, I actually think it's probably going to be too small. Let's just hold it in place and see. I mean, it might be better than nothing just for the time being. It literally comes to the top there, but until I get around to doing something else, I'm just thinking, because obviously this has got a plastic base to it, it's not going to rot. I wouldn't even need to put it into the semi-hydro, to be honest. I could put it next to semi-hydro in the pot and use it like that. It's a temporary fix. Let's just do this for now. I've given all of the other plants that were next to my Philodendron Splendid a really good check over for pests, and I haven't seen anything at all. I haven't even seen signs of damage. So I do hope I caught that early enough that maybe there won't be any spreading and there won't be any issues. I say it so much of the time, but when you've got a big collection, it's really difficult to effectively isolate plants. Like at this time of year, if you've got a little bit of outdoor space, it can be a little bit easier because, for example, I could probably leave my Philodendron Splendid out there overnight. Tonight it would probably be okay, but the rest of the year it's just a nightmare. Eventually, when we've got a bigger space, I will absolutely get this one onto a moss pole and hopefully really get it sizing up, because the Philodendron Jose Bueno is one that can grow to be like absolutely ginormous. If you haven't seen a picture of this plant mature, honestly Google it, it's insane. And I'd love to try and bring out the best in the plant and just kind of grow it as big as possible, but bearing in mind we're already being slightly pushed out by the plants in a 1-bedroom flat, I don't think it's the time to be trying to achieve that kind of growth. So as usual, there goes the coffee machine. But yeah, perfect. That will do for the time being, and I actually think it looks quite nice like that. I know this isn't a particularly practical pole and it is very much a stake as opposed to, like, people call these moss poles. They are not moss poles and they do not function in the same way as moss poles. But as a support, I think this will work really well. So, next on the agenda, I think I'm gonna get this one outside with the others to air dry a little bit. I've also got my Alocasia Portadora out there on the balcony that you might have spotted before, and that one is out there because, you guessed it, it's had spider mites. And that's a plant that I've said so many times, if I don't pest treat literally every single week, it is so susceptible to pests that it's pretty much guaranteed to get them, especially at this time of year when all of the windows and doors are open like all the time. So I'm gonna get this one outside. I'm gonna pest treat my Portadora, and I'm gonna give this area here just a little clean up, because you probably can't tell on camera. The camera is very kind usually, but there's lots of dust and I can see bits of like the colony material from predatory mites and stuff like that. I can see all of that in there. So yeah, just give everything a little clean and then we can make it look nice again. And to be honest, it's such a nice day. I'm thinking I could probably take you outside and do this. I always get a little bit self-conscious, like filming outside where I know people can hear me because my neighbours are about. But I've just got some horticultural soap and a sponge, and in fact, with my Portadora, I think I'm gonna lop off this leaf because I know this one's kind of on its way out anyway. It is doing a lot of cycling at the moment just because it's not getting the light it needs. And I think I probably should at some point invest in another grow light, but yeah, this leaf is really spider mitey. I'll chop it off and then I'll show you. Yeah, so this is the leaf. It's absolutely gorgeous, but you look just there in the sinus, can you see? There's lots of webbing and it is really quite spider mighty, so I'm gonna put this straight in the bin. And then yeah, these ones I'm just gonna give a wipe over front and back. This is pretty standard. The good thing about it only having 2 leaves currently and cycling lots is that for pest treating, it doesn't take that long. But yeah, obviously I would like to get her to size up at some point and give me more growth that is sustainable. Perfect. And I think I'm gonna just leave this one out here for the time being. But one that I know I haven't actually shown you in ages, because it now kind of lives on the balcony at this time of year, is my big yucca. And she's looking okay. Again, I think she could probably do with a bit of a trim back and definitely a repot. This one is now way taller than me and is in a pot that is very, very small. So that is something, another thing on the list. But yeah, for the time being, she's surviving out here. I wouldn't say she's thriving, but she is just such a hardy plant, and it is quite nice to have some plants that if you do neglect them for a little while, you just know they'll be fine, and my yucca is definitely one of them. But yeah, right, let's get this bit cleaned up a little bit, and then we can get everything back in its positions. Also, one that I very rarely show you nowadays, because it's in this little kind of open terrarium, is, let me move you around so I can show you a little bit better, but it's my Hoya Pubicarlic Splash. Don't know why that took me a moment, but it's so gorgeous, and I'm just growing it in semi-hydro in this little thing, and it's doing really well. I don't really do anything to it, and it seems really happy. Just thought I'd show you that one because I feel like I haven't spoken about it in a while. I'm just trying to think about ways that I can keep my philodendron splendid a little bit more isolated from the rest of the plants in that area while still maintaining its level of light, because obviously I've got that lovely grow light there that I added fairly recently from Grow Gang, and I've got my mother grow light bar just there. And I was just thinking as I was cleaning, I was like, maybe I could move my Monstera deliciosa, which is currently over there. Maybe I could move that back to this spot, because I was growing that one here up until like a few months ago, and it was very, very happy there. Equally, my philodendron splendid, I think, would be happy over by my desk, and it would be further away from other things. So maybe I do that. My Monstera deliciosa is another one that really needs a repot, but I just don't have the things that I need. I've just this morning ordered a load of soil, so I will be able to do lots of repotting things in the next kind of week or so. But for the time being, I think I'm just going to give it a really good water through and try it there again. Just try it. Oh no. You probably can't see the drama that's just occurred because it's behind where I'm watering. But I've just knocked over one of my snake plants and it's made such a mess. Oh my goodness, sometimes I have days where I do everything I can to be like productive and get on top of stuff, and I just feel like I create more chaos. Does anyone else ever have that? Fortunately, it's only the top layer of soil that fell out, so I will, I think, just be able to sweep it up and put it straight back in the pot. No breakages. There's a bit of extra dog hair in that, but I don't think the plant will mind. Oh, careful, don't open the door just yet.
I have the fan.
Yeah, it's too hot, isn't it? Say hello to the people of YouTube, Ross.
Hello, people of YouTube.
Yeah, go on, you have the fan.
It's so hot.
It's so hot.
It's so hot.
Hot damn. God of hell.
I'm missing the
fire, man.
Just to let the people of YouTube know, I am very moist. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye. Okay, right. Back on track. Now I've watered the monstera. It looks fine. It looks pretty fine, but I am just going to give it a wipe down with horticultural soap as well before I move it to a new spot, just in the event that I spread something from one area to another. It's got a few brown edges at the top here, and I'm just trimming them back, literally just for aesthetic reasons, because I don't want to look at them. But apart from that, aside from being a little dehydrated, this one's doing pretty well. I do love this plant. Oh, the other thing I might do, so this is the plant that got really badly sunburnt last year, and I'm a little ashamed to say, however slightly proud because it's worked for a year. I painted some of the leaves that were just dead, like they died, and I painted that side so that they'd still look lovely and green but still have their form. But I kind of feel like it's starting to look a bit tatty and it looks a bit naff, so I might chop back some of that as well. Especially now that she's putting out lovely growth like this. I think it is time. Another one that is like not using the moss pole in the way that, I mean, it doesn't, what am I saying? It doesn't need a moss pole, this plant. It just needs something to be able to hold it upright. Like it's not going to affect the size of its growth if I was to take it off the moss pole, but the pole that I've got in there has been, like, aerial roots have grown through it and it's tipping so far forward. I don't know if you can see. It's coming so far forward that I feel like the plant is just gonna tip and fall. And seeing as that's already happened a couple of times today, I don't think I want to take the risk. So I think I need to find a way to either straighten that moss pole, I'm not sure how I would do that, or adjust the plant so it's kind of tilted backwards a bit. Okay, let's take it out and figure this out. So yeah, if you, oh hello Yoli, hello baby, hello, oh I think she's still a little bit freaked out by the fact that stuff is happening, hello, oh there we go, taking a moment for cuddles. Thanks. But what I was saying is, as you can see, the moss pole is going off at an angle like that when it should be like that. Julie's trying to reverse, bless her, go on. Get up there. And yeah, I've already previously apparently tried to tie it up a little bit, like I've put a bit of ribbon there and I've tied that around the pot. And in theory, that could like because I just need it to be lifted to like there. In theory, that could work quite well. And I'm in fact wondering, I don't know if this would work, but the stake that I took out of my Jose Bueno, I'm wondering if I could tie that securely to the pot. I don't know if I'm explaining this particularly well. If I was to tie that securely to the edge of the pot like that, so that that's kind of really sturdy, and then tie that to that, I reckon that could work quite well actually. Let's give it a go, because I feel like working with the limited things that I've got today, I was about to say ingredients, the limited materials that I have today, let's give it a shot. What is there to lose, apart from a bamboo cane that is already on its way out? This would absolutely be easier if I had another pair of hands. But Ross is in a meeting. Yoli, if you could come and push on this moss pole right now, it would really help me out. I would talk you through what I'm doing, but I'm not entirely sure myself. I'm not sure if it's going to work either. If it works, I'll show you the detail. The detail. Okay. So, I have tied this around the pot and I've put the bamboo cane in. It's kind of a bit wobbly. I've lifted the moss pole up a little bit and just tied it, like used the same string to tie it there. And I'm thinking now, if I just do a couple of further ties. Oh no, damn it, I need to tie this at the bottom, otherwise that's just gonna fall with it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to make one more tie and hope that that can just hold that at the bottom. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm making a weird little contraption here, but I have faith in it. Okay, right, we're back. Moment of truth. In theory now, this should hold the moss pole upright, because as you may be able to see, I have cleverly tied this around the bottom so that there should be so much pressure on it that it should all hold together. Please, I hope it holds together. You know what would be really useful to know right now is that like boat loop that people do, so you don't have to have two ends of something to tie it. I don't know what to do, and that's why I'm going to just keep doing random little loops and hope that one of them forms a knot. Oh, is that it? Okay, somehow done it. And I'm pleased to say that I think it's actually worked. I did not expect that to work, but it has done the job. I know it's not elegant, but I don't care, because I'm the only one that's ever gonna see it, and it's gonna be facing the wall. So let's try again. Let's try getting the plant in position, and hopefully it will look much better and be much more stable. Okay, that is so much better. The only thing is now, is that obviously that leaf there, it doesn't have that much room, like it doesn't have that much give. Once it gives me another leaf, which it is getting ready to do, it's literally going to be climbing the walls. And that was the perk of having my Philodendron Splendid in that spot. So I think what I'll probably do is do this as a temporary measure, and then either have a rearrange so that this chest doesn't have to be here and it can go on the floor, or switch them back. I think that's the best thing to do. I don't know, honestly, I don't know about you guys, but I rearrange my plants so much. But it looks beautiful there. I've always loved my monstera in that spot, and now that it's got a little bit more light, I think that looks really beautiful. So yeah, cool. I'm gonna get the other plants and put them back in. Okay, it looks lovely actually, it looks really nice, but I'm now out of room for my Jose Bueno. So I need to find space for that somewhere. Where can that go? God, too many plants. Not a permanent position, I just need to put it there out of the way while I think. I've just been standing staring into space for about 5 minutes, and I've come to the conclusion that I need a smaller sofa. That doesn't fix any problems for now, but I was just thinking if the sofa was smaller, I could fit so many more plants there comfortably. So currently I'll walk you through my thoughts because I don't know what the answer is, but I am thinking, I said the other day, I'm thinking about potentially chopping up my Monstera dubia, and that does feel like something that practically actually would be quite a good idea if it happened. It's gonna be such a difficult chop to make, but I have got a lovely top section there, so I could do that. Oh, do I want to chop it up today though? That's a big scary thing to do today. Okay, just because I've just thrown that thought on myself, it feels a little overwhelming and terrifying, so I'm gonna say that that's an option. The other thing I'm thinking is my Philodendron Dean McDowell, which absolutely needs to come out of its spot at the moment because that is in Spider Mighty Corner. It needs a chop back, it needs a shower down. That whole area needs a clean off, but that will free up some space where the Jose Bueno could go. And I know that that plant grows well in that area because I had it there for the first like 8 months I lived here and it was fine. So maybe initially, oh, my face is all itchy. Maybe initially I just clear that area a little bit and see what space I'm left working with then. Yeah. So yeah, this is going straight to the shower. This one looks so much worse and like dramatic because it's so floppy as well. Like it hasn't had a water in just over a week, but I think because, to be honest, it probably needs a new pot. I've had it since it was like a 2-leaf little thing when I first moved in here, which was getting on for 2 years ago now. And it's grown a huge amount in that time, and I've obviously just trained it to go back round in its pot, like kind of loop back on itself as a crawler instead of actually chopping it. And in fact, some of you were asking me how I did that. And I basically just made it a really, really gradual process. As I saw it starting to get to the end of its trough plant, I put a chopstick there to just encourage it to kind of go like round anti-clockwise, and I just kept doing that until it decided that it was going to grow that way. There wasn't a lot else to it. But yeah, I know that 2 of the leaves of this plant, most of them actually look okay, but 2 of the leaves have been really badly spider mitten. And I'm tempted to chop them, but I'm gonna give it a shower down and I'm gonna, yeah, this is one of the really bad ones. Look at that. And the stickiness you can see is all extra floral nectaries. I'm actually tempted to just take that one off. I think that is so bad that I don't think it's worth even trying to save that one. See if it will just come off easily. Nope, that's not gonna budge without scissors. Okay, let's just make sure I'm cutting the right leaf. Yes, there we go. Oh my goodness, I've done that before where I've had a leaf and I'm like, oh, that one definitely needs to go, and I've chopped the wrong one by mistake. Just look at that. That is so damaged. So yeah, I'm gonna again put that one straight and thin. I personally don't compost leaves that have been affected by pests, just because you do then risk spreading the pestiness. So yeah, I'm gonna just put that straight into the bin. And then yeah, give the rest of the plant a really good spritz down and water. So this one's currently, as you can tell, looking very sorry for itself. It's very wilted and I've kind of battered it down with the shower a bit, but this one perks up so quickly. So I would have thought in the next hour or so, it will probably be all standing back up and looking lovely. I'm gonna keep it in the bathroom just for the time being. I think I'm obviously not gonna be able to, it's such a big plant now, I'm not gonna be able to leave it in here for ages, but I think just for the next, I was gonna say 24 hours, until one of us needs to have a shower, I'm gonna just leave it in here and then maybe just keep it in the bathroom. And then I'll definitely be giving it a wipe down with horticultural soap as well. When the diatomaceous earth arrives, I will also be sprinkling that. And it's such a difficult one to isolate again because it's so big, so I think probably it will go like on the coffee table back in here for the next week or so, and then I'm probably gonna have to risk putting it back in with the rest of the plants and just being really strict with my monitoring. But it is a plant that's had pests before, like in my time of owning this plant in the past, it has had thrips, it has had spider mites. Also, I'm just being quiet because Ross is working. But yeah, I would have thought that it will be fine doing it that way. It's actually weird not having it in that spot. It looks very bare now, but I'm thinking if I clear this area up a bit and obviously just have a check for pests, I can probably put my Bueno along here somewhere. I've still got that aloe vera at the end there, and that's a plant. Let me just grab it. But this is one that I've actually said before I might get rid of, and this is one that can definitely go outside for the time being. So I can kind of just lift that one out of its space. I can put that outside on the balcony for the summer and then decide how I feel about that one. Because I would hang on to it if I had a little bit more space, but obviously again, coming back to the space thing, I'm running out. So yeah, I think balcony plant, and maybe that's freed up just enough to be able to make things work, actually. Let's clear this area up and have a look. And while I'm here as well and tackling the things that I don't particularly want to be doing, I am gonna get my bed of paradise out and give that a wipe over. I need to give it a really good check anyway, just to make sure that that doesn't have pests. I don't think it does, but again, just wanna be sure. And it's a good excuse to give it a dust, because that one absolutely hoards dust. I did consider maybe relocating that one as well, but I'm not sure. I don't know where else I'd put it. Hold that thought, we can come back to that. Oh my God, this one has got so big. Done before I started wiping this one down is actually just give the leaves a dust, so I'm not just spreading dust. The good thing is though, I can't see any pests at all on this one. So I think it may have been a narrow miss. To be honest, having dusted it off, I'm not sure it really needs a full wipe down, but seeing as I'm here, I may as well do it. I don't think it's completely necessary though, to be honest. I really do think actually my bed of paradise would benefit from a lot more light than it's getting. Don't get me wrong, it's putting out beautiful growth, but like for example, it's got a leaf here which has been unfurling or like pushing out for about 2 months, and I just know that when I was growing this plant in my mum's conservatory and it was getting light all day round, when it started giving me a leaf, the leaf would finish unfurling within like a week or two. And I have, as you would have seen from the position I just had it in, I have moved it a little bit further away from the doors than I'd like. And I could do another grow light above it. Just be a lot more wiring, and I'm just wondering if maybe it would be easier to move it. But then again, I'm like, but where do I move it to then? Sometimes I wish that I could just strip the living room back and start again as if I was just moving in, because my collection has changed so much in such a short space of time. I just think it would be interesting to go back and essentially start from scratch and just find positions for everything, like without knowing what I know now, if that makes sense. Because you do, without meaning to, just get very stuck in your way of like seeing things and doing things. And like I know there's some plants that I've got and I have them in a certain position because I know that they do well there, and therefore I don't ever experiment with like, what if they do well over here, or like, I don't know, there might be better ways of doing things and I'm not experimenting enough to find out. So maybe, I don't quite know how practical that would be, but maybe at some point I get everything else and I start again. God, that would be a mission. Potentially doable though. Okay. Oh my goodness, that just looks so glossy and beautiful. I love this plant so much. And I wonder actually, because it is giving me this leaf that hasn't finished unfurling, I wonder if I could get it to unfurl if I hold a tea towel around it. Let me give it a go. So yeah, this is the leaf that obviously just hasn't unfurled yet, and I've done this before and it worked really well. I've just got a tea towel that I've soaked with hot water, not like boiling hot, obviously just warm. I'm just going to hold it around the leaf and just see if it encourages it to open. Right, let's see. slowly take it off and see if this has done anything. Any movement? No, that didn't work at all. Let's try one more time with another tea towel, and if it doesn't work, then I will just leave nature to do its thing. As I say, this is literally just me being impatient. There's no, like, you don't have to do this. It will fix itself. It's not like a leaf that's stuck in a caterpillar or anything like that. There's no harm that's going to come to the plant if it doesn't unfurl. Sometimes you can just give it a little head start though. Oh, I feel like I felt it move a little bit. Try again. Oh God, and I feel like I heard a rip there. Let's hope it wasn't. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's starting to unfurl. If I could just help it a little bit. Yeah, I got a teeny tiny rip at the top of the leaf, but actually, yay, look! Oh, how exciting. Okay, I'm not going to unfurl the whole leaf. I'm going to let it do its thing now, but if it was a little bit stuck, hopefully that's just helped it on its way, and hopefully in the next couple of days now, I will have a lovely, beautiful new leaf. And this one does need a water, and I was going to put it back in its position first before I water it. And actually, I'm just looking at the room, which I kind of don't want to show you because it's really messy on that side of the room, and I feel ashamed of it. But let's stand back so you can't see the mess as much. Oh no, you can totally still see it. But actually not having any big plants going along the back of the sofa, although it feels a bit empty, it definitely makes the room feel bigger. And I'm wondering if maybe I could move my bird of paradise over to that side where it's getting more light, it's going to be happier, and leave a little bit more space here. I might try it. I know I'm now getting really distracted because this isn't why I started doing this, but I just wonder if that would make it feel a little bit more open. So I don't really have anywhere else that I could move it to. Unless I move the sofa over even more, but then there's already, like, since I've lived here, if you look at the picture on Instagram from when I first moved in here, the sofa was like over there, and slowly but surely it's moved and moved and moved, and now there's only a very little walkway because I've been making more space for plants. But I could move it over a little bit more, couldn't I? So, oh, the camera just died. But one thing I'm pretty sure about is that I do prefer my bird of paradise there. Obviously now I will have to arrange or rearrange the hanging plants a little bit because they're coming down onto it, but I can easily do that. I think it just makes it feel, I don't know, I just like the feel of it in here a little bit more. And then I could probably squeeze the Philodendron Splendid just next to my desk there, kind of in the same position as where the Monstera Deliciosa was before. And that way, although it's still going to be amongst plants, it's not going to be touching any other plants. It's going to be right by my succulents, and typically, touch wood, succulents aren't that susceptible to spider mites. Also bearing in mind, I'm going to be sat next to that plant literally every single day when I'm editing and doing admin stuff. I will be able to monitor it, like maybe better even than some of my others. So that feels like maybe a good decision. I'm going to put it back there. I'm going to put it back there, and I'm going to see if I like it or not. But before I do that, I've just seen something else that I want to give you an update on. My God, I get distracted so easily. But I got some more Begonia Sinbad cuttings and I absolutely love them. I really am so desperate to get a big plant of this going myself, but I haven't been able to find anywhere in the UK that's selling an actual plant of this. So gradually, I'm taking cuttings, I'm chopping, I'm propagating. The lovely seller I found on Etsy that was selling these has just reopened her shop. So I went on there when I was on holiday and ordered a load more. And also this is a little pot that I made yesterday when me and Ross were having a crafty day. We were doing lots of kind of, I mean, not all planty stuff, but I was just having a play about with like different texture and stuff. And I thought that looked quite cool. And in fact, something that's not plant related whatsoever, but it is Pride related and it's Pride month. I made a Pride snail and I'm not sure what he's going to be used for. Ross said I could put him in a plant pot and I kind of could. But yeah, it was quite satisfying and fun to make and I'm pretty proud of it. So yeah, Ross is making lots of little monsters and I'm making Pride snails. That's just like a standard Sunday for us.
Hey, Lucy, I know it's all a bit confusing, isn't it? It's all a bit confusing.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Sorry, baby.
Okay, I'm taking a 5-minute breather because bless Yoli's getting very stressed. I'm moving lots of things around and she doesn't like it. But bird of paradise there. Sorry, baby girl, take 1 minute. And then in the white pot that you can't see very well through there, but I've put my Philodendron Splendid. I'll put a clip of it in actually because I'm aware the angle I'm showing you it from, you cannot see very well. But it's not touching any other plants, as I say, and I think although it's not getting quite as much light as it was getting when it was there, I think for the time being, come here baby, it'll be fine, come here. On a completely non-planty note though, God, we had a scary experience this morning. I was actually on the phone to Emma at the time. I was out walking with Yoli. Thank you. I was out walking with Yoli and she wears like a nervous jacket and a muzzle when she goes out because she can be a little bit reactive. She's a rescue and she can just be a little bit of a handful. And we were coming up to a road and there was another dog coming towards us. And I have her basically clipped onto like a bungee strap that clips onto her lead, so it gives me a little bit of leeway if she like launches. It doesn't like pull my arm quite so much. And very like, oh, I say long story short, basically we just got some new stuff that was meant to be like more secure for her. And one of the bits that we got snapped, and so she came off her lead and she just bolted up to this other dog. Luckily the owner was really understanding and luckily I managed to get her back very quickly, but my God, it gave me such a fright. Literally the whole way home I was like shaking. It could have been very different if we'd been closer to the road or if the guy hadn't been so lovely about it. So it just has made me think, like, as a reactive dog owner, I'm like, I should have several backups. I should have something attached to me. I should have something, like 2 different things attached to her in the event that something breaks. I've got like something else. But yeah, that was a hair-raising moment, and that is, yeah, something that I really hope doesn't happen again. But she's had a very good runabout this morning. She should be knackered. I think, like, when it's this hot, it must be so uncomfortable for the dogs. I mean, I try and get her out very early in the morning when it's this warm, just because obviously any later than like 9 o'clock, it's unbearable. But yeah, it's just a case of running lots of fans and keeping all the windows and doors open. She is just triggered by any kind of like sudden movement or anything though. So like, I don't know what's next on my list, but I feel like it should be something that doesn't involve carrying things in and out of the bathroom. Ew. In fact, I could do my cabinet. Oh, I've got to say, I'm pretty proud of how I'm powering through today. Typically at this stage, I would have crashed. I think just because I feel like I'm really on a roll and I feel like I'm getting through a lot. I have no idea how long I've been filming for, but I've changed my camera battery like 4 times, so I would have thought at least an hour or so. But yeah, I really would like to get into my cabinet. I know I've got some, I can't see any pests in there, but I did take my Drimonia cherry-begana out of my cabinet when I got home because I found thrips on it. So I think probably, to be on the safe side, everything should have a wipe down in there. So I think what I'll probably do is get everything out of my cabinet, give it an individual wipe down, give it a water, and then give my cabinet a clean. Just give it a sweep out, give it a wipe down, and then get everything back in. And then I feel like that's a good finishing point for the day. If I can get through all of that, then I will be happy. And I feel like I haven't got too distracted either, which is good. I'm looking out on the balcony, and although I've got a bit of clearing up to do out there, I haven't left loads of plants out there. I've kind of got things into positions. So yeah, let's set up and let's get into my cabinet. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the bottom level, and I'm gonna just a standard watering system. I'm gonna just take everything out and I'm just gonna have a look at it. And if I suspect anything might be pesty or anything like that, if I'm in any doubt about anything, then obviously I won't use the same watering reservoir. I'll take it over to the sink, or I'll take it through to the shower or something like that. But yeah, the bottom level, actually, I didn't see anything bad happening in the bottom level, so I'm hoping everything will be okay. Most of the stuff in here is just very, very dry. It hasn't been, like here in the UK, it hasn't been that warm up until, like for summer, it hasn't been that warm up until 4 or 5 days ago. I kind of forgot how hot this flat could get. It is almost unbearable. Like, I remember last year I was like, God, what will I do if I need to do plant care? I'm gonna have to do all my plant care at night time because I'm not gonna be able to do any of it during the day. And I'm sure this is just me being a wimp. I think it's just because, like in England, we're not used to very high temperatures. And I think today it's probably been about, I don't know, like late 20s Celsius, but because it's so muggy and warm, it almost feels like it needs to thunder. It just feels so much more intense. And the other really annoying thing that I don't think I've mentioned on here, but the other really annoying thing is that we're having building work done on my block of flats starting at some point in the next couple of weeks. And it's necessary work. Like, it does need to happen. It's been needing to happen since before I moved in. And the fact that it's actually finally going ahead is a really positive thing, but it does mean that there's gonna be, I think, about a month's worth of building work, scaffolding all around the flats, which Yoli is gonna hate. And they've also got to strip all of the cladding off the building. So yeah, I'm kind of like, I think it's going to be a little bit disruptive in the fact that obviously she's going to be distressed and we're going to be very aware of people like looking in the whole time. But I am also on a practical note thinking like that's obviously very much going to affect like filming and stuff, and obviously YouTube is my job. Like, I make videos all the time and I'm thinking, how am I gonna manage this? Am I gonna just have to do, yeah, lots of nighttime films, or I don't know. So please bear with me. It might be a little bit of a weird few months. Hopefully it won't take too long. I do hope that they can just get in there and kind of get it done fairly quickly. But we'll have to wait and see. Also, the Philodendron Martianum, this one that I had it in semi-hydro up until about 2-3 months ago, and I put it back into sphagnum moss to essentially kind of reset the plant because it wasn't doing very well beforehand. And since I've put it into sphagnum moss, it seems to be loving life again and it's putting out loads of new growth. So I know I probably can't grow it in sphagnum moss long term, or I mean I could, but I don't know. I don't typically do that for philodendron, but I'm pretty happy just leaving it as is because it seems really, really good now, and it wasn't for such a long time. alocasia corms. I can't actually remember what they are, but one's sprouting there. And then, I don't know if you can see, but it's almost like there's more corms forming there, even though I haven't got a leaf yet. And insane roots, really insane roots. It could be part of my sinuata, I think, maybe. But I genuinely can't remember. I should really be better at labelling stuff. I've got loads of little sinuatas in one of my prop box. They all started sprouting when I was away, and I came back to, I think, about 7 of them, and they are gorgeous. And then I've also got several sections of the sinuata. Oh my god, this is dry. But just in my cabinet. And I'm kind of tempted, although I'll probably take some to plant swaps this year, I'm kind of tempted to pot them all back up together and get a really big full one going, because you don't see the sinuata that much. It's one of my favourite alocasias. It's one that I don't talk about enough actually, but I would love to have a really big, beautiful one in my collection. And so far, hasn't been a struggle per se, but it has just given me a little bit of grief compared to some of my other alocasias in my time of owning it. So yeah, not entirely sure what I'll do yet. But I'm glad it's bouncing back, because there was a time that I thought I was losing it and I got very scared. But yeah, how gorgeous is that leaf? Isn't that just beautiful? The alocasia dragon's breath that I adore and is doing brilliantly, but should not have been allowed to get this dry. God, its roots are insane though. I've never noticed this before, but when you rehydrate semi-hydro, if it's really, I'm using the chunky stuff here, but if it's really dry and then you listen to it, it almost sounds like Rice Krispies, like the snap crackle pop. I was like, what is that noise? I don't know what to do with this one. This is, and I've spoken about this quite recently as well, this is another Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, but this is a different type. This is actually a reverted, variegated tetrasperma, and I've got the section that I've managed to conserve the variegation on, yay! But that's here, and it's really lovely actually. I love this plant way more than I thought I would before I owned it, if that makes sense. But the reverted section, I feel like I'm kind of maybe hanging on to it for the sake of it, because obviously I showed you earlier in the video the massive Rhaphidophora tetrasperma that I've got, and they're different types. Like, I believe this one's a tissue culture one and the other one that I've already got is a true form, and I'm not sure which one. I don't need both, but then I'm like, oh, but you should have both because they grow a little bit differently. So I don't know. But this one is starting to split beautifully. For now, it's such a low maintenance plant. It's one that I think I probably can just leave in my cabinet and decide about later. I don't need to kind of jump to any dramatic decisions. And the other one that, I'm thinking I might get rid of is this one, the Philodendron pennatilobum. And this is one of the cuttings I got for my birthday, and it's just not growing very well for me, and I've tried it in a few different ways and I haven't really been happy with it in any way. And I do like this lovely moss pole pot thing, but I just think another plant could be much happier on it. Yeah, that's what it looks like. It's one that I really wanted before I got, and it's just been a bit anticlimactic since I've had it, which is a shame actually. But yeah, I'm gonna take that one out actually and put it to one side. and decide what I want to do about that, because currently I'm not feeling particularly inspired by it. God, I've got a very dry Hoya there. I just lost a leaf. And when Hoyas start yellowing and losing leaves, you know you're in trouble, because they are seriously drought tolerant. I did take another cutting of this as well, and it's in one of my prop boxes, and it's just given me the most beautiful new leaf. And again, at some point the plan is to pot them together. I need to have a day really of doing that, because I've taken so many cuttings of so many plants over the years with the aim of doing that, with the aim of combining them, and I've just not done it. So I should make time to do that, because often that's the trick really. If you want to get really lovely big full plants, it's not just like waiting for them to grow bigger, it's taking the cuttings, it's propping, it's doing all of that sort of stuff. And I have done it, I just haven't completed it. I'm wondering with the variegated Rhaphidophora tetrasperma, now that I've had 3 fairly mature leaves in a row with variegation, I wonder how likely it is to revert. I know it doesn't always work like that, but it is currently giving me a new leaf. I don't want to mess with it, but I do want to know if it's going to be variegated. Yeah, it's one that I said before, so this was actually very kindly given to me as a cutting by my friend Lottie for my birthday last year, I think. But before I got this plant, I thought it was gorgeous, but the whole like hype around it, I was a bit like, oh, I just wouldn't pay that much money for the plant, because it was so expensive. It was a bit like the craze for the variegated Adansonii. I think cuttings of this one were going for like £800 or even more. Like full plants were going for thousands. And as with everything, because it's choppable, propagatable, everyone kind of jumped on it, and the price did slowly start to come down. Still not the cheapest to buy, but bearing in mind I didn't pay for mine, I was given mine. It is one that I just really love. I really love it, and I feel very lucky to have it. So yeah, now that it's finally starting to grow well for me, it's very satisfying, because I took a while to get there with it. And why is this looking so sad? Oh, where are my scissors? I've put the scissors down somewhere and lost them, so I'm back with a knife to take a leaf off this one. And this, I think, has just got very dry in the time that I've been away. But it is my Syngonium chiapense, which I was given by one of you guys actually at the Bristol plant swap, and I absolutely adore it. And it's almost, in fact it probably is ready to be potted up. It's been rooting for ages. I say ages, I think about 2.5, 3 months now, and it's got a lovely root system in there. And I've had it on this shelf just here, but as I say, I think again that might be a little bit too close to the grow light, especially at this time of year when the temperature's so high. So again, maybe I move it down a bit. Because yeah, the 2 leaves it's got are very healthy, but it has lost a couple of leaves. Got one here that I'm not going to put back into my cabinet. This is Begonia albopicta. It's fine. Ugh, I don't know. I loved the plant when it was doing well for me. It's been doing awfully in my care for such a long time. So I think I'm going to offer this to one of my neighbours, because I can't be bothered to keep trying with this plant. I think it's lovely, but it's just not rewarding, and it's stressful. And plant care shouldn't be constantly stressful. Oh, and this needs to drop back as well. I think this is, and I need to actually check with my friend Lisa. I did a plant swap with Lisa, who's a happy plant collector on Instagram. I gave her a variegated Alocasia Frydek corm or little plants? Little plants. A little plants that only had white growth, I do believe. And I think it has now started giving her green, which is really good. But this, I think, is an Anthurium King of Spades cross crystallinum, I think. And it's so sweet. But again, I have just lost one of its leaves because it got very dry. I think really, I know I'm having a moan about all of my plants today, but I think really this is just because it's been so warm and I haven't been here. So maybe they will just be fine back in their normal positions when I'm monitoring them better. I don't know. Oh, this jewel orchid is also very droopy. I'm saving this lovely jewel orchid for when me and Ross do our big terrarium build, which, to be honest, we've got most of the bits for. Like, I've got the big, when I say terrarium, it's going to be almost like an open terrarium slash tank, because I'm thinking I might want to put some creatures in there at some point. But yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful jewel orchid. And we keep saying that we're going to make the terrariums, we just haven't got around to do it. Like, life just takes over, doesn't it? When we first got back from Malvern, I was like, I don't know, I had all these ideas and I was like, we could do this, we could do that. And before you knew it, we were going away on holiday. And although that was so lovely, it flew by, and now we're back. He's been landed with a load of stuff at work, meaning that he is having to work like ridiculously hard and super long hours. And yeah, we haven't had a moment to think about it. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm very keen to do soon. And I know Ross is as well. Like, actually, he's made a couple of terrarium-y type things in the last couple of weeks that I have shown on my Patreon, but they're more like fun little crafty things. Like, he'll do some modelling and then make it into a terrarium type thing, which looks awesome. It looks really, really cool. But the terrarium that we set out to build has not yet been built. You know what though, I've got one here that I'm gonna take out just purely because I don't really like it. I don't like how it's growing for me. I really don't like how it's growing for me. So this one is currently very dehydrated, but even when it is not dehydrated, I just don't like it. It's the Epiphyllum ackermanii. And I've seen it as a big full plant and it looks gorgeous. Like, if you look at the main section there, if all of its growth looked like that, I'd be so happy. But yeah, it looks straggly, it never looks well, and I don't enjoy caring for it. So yeah, I'm gonna put this one to one side as well. And what happens to it, I don't yet know, but I don't want it anymore. But yeah, right, Ahoy Pubera, and then I do believe that is everything on the bottom shelf that needs attention, and then I'm just going to give it a clean. And the good thing is I haven't seen any pests whatsoever as I've been going through doing that. I was so scared I was going to get into my cabinet, and I've still got the top shelf to do, but I was so scared that I was going to get in and just find things riddled with pests. It's one of the reasons I've been putting off getting into my cabinet. But fortunately, everything looks fine. So yeah, those two are clipped onto the backboard, so I'm gonna leave them there. But apart from that, let's get cleaning. Let's get it feeling nice. Goodness, that bottom section is spotless. Look how gorgeous and clean that is. And that feels so good. And I know that, especially seeing as all the plants have had a wipe over and everything, once they go back in there, they're gonna look so lovely. It always just makes things, I don't know, just look much healthier. I know actually, in reality, ooh, camera's falling off. It doesn't make a difference, but it just like mentally makes you feel better. So yeah, I'm gonna get all the bottom shelf plants back in, apart from the ones that I'm keeping out. And then I'm gonna do are the top section. Wow, that does make such a difference. I'll show you when I've done the top level as well. But just look how clean that looks. I feel like I can like see everything better, if that makes sense. Like I feel like I can gauge where my plants are at better than I could before. Oh, I'm starting to flag now, so I'm gonna power through this top section and then I'm gonna fall asleep on the sofa. Oh no, that's a dead plant. That's an anthurium that I was really excited about as well. It's one of the ones that I got at the Malvern Festival and I didn't have an accurate ID on it and I was so excited about that. Whew. I could water it and see if it comes back, and in fact I will, but I'm not sure there's much of a chance there. Straight off the bat, I've just found a mealybug on the cutting of the, I want to say Rhaphidophora paradoxa cutting that I got at Malvern. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that is a mealybug. So this plant I'm going to take out of the cabinet. Fortunately, it is the only one I can see. But mealybugs are such a pain, and touch wood, I have gone without them for a while now because my god, I went through a period where I had them all the time. So yeah, that is coming out of the cabinet, and just superficially looking at everything as I was taking it out, I think it looks fine, but I've said that before and then I've missed things. I feel like when I finish this today, I'm gonna be really happy. Not because I finished, but because I feel like it's rare that I have an afternoon where I don't get distracted. Like, honestly, so much of what obviously what I show on YouTube, a lot of it is edited, but sometimes I will start filming, I'll get distracted by something for like an hour, and then I'll be like, oh my god, I'm in the middle of doing plant stuff. And obviously you don't see the middle bit, but today I've actually stayed on track and I've really enjoyed it. It's been really enjoyable. And sometimes when you're struggling to kind of get started with something, also I don't know why I'm just ripping this leaf. I'm trying to get the brown off, but instead of cutting, I'm just ripping. Don't do that, Claire. But yeah, sometimes when you're struggling to get started and like find your mojo with something, it can just be a little bit difficult to kind of keep yourself going, and like you just feel a bit like, oh god, today's one of those days I'm just plowing through it. And I almost expected today to feel like that, and it hasn't. So yeah, it's crazy though, actually. Although I feel like I've got through so much, and I have, really, I'm not even a quarter of the way through this room, like nowhere near. I know I will have made a big dent, but I feel like I've still very much got my work cut out. Now that I'm back in my flow and actually like getting on with stuff though, I'm like, okay, I feel good again. I do love it because I know I moan quite a bit about stuff on my channel, but sometimes I get comments from people being like, well, if plants are stressing you out, don't have so many plants. And I'm like, I know, I absolutely could do that. However, I'm either one or the other. I will either be stressed out by the fact I've got so many, or I will be out of things to do and I will be plant shopping. I can't strike a balance of both. So yeah. I find the Xantharium a really interesting one because it's a papillomaminum hybrid. I've had so many theories about what the hybrid actually is, and I can't remember which I decided was the closest now. But every single leaf it's given me, granted it has been sizing up, but every single leaf it's given me has changed in form so much that, like, if you look at its first leaf that I had when I got it, which is that one there, it's a bit shiny at the moment because I've just wiped it over, and then you look at this leaf, which I think is its most recent, they almost look like different plants. Like, the lobes have moved so much closer together, and actually on this one it almost looks a bit like, not forgetii-ish, because I know obviously they don't have lobes at all, they're all like one at the top, but it just feels like with every new leaf comes a different form of the plant, which I really enjoy. It kind of keeps me on my toes and keeps things interesting. But it is getting ready to push out a new leaf at the moment, and I'm hoping, seeing as it has been like bone dry, it's not going to affect that new leaf too much. I really hope not. And as I say, I will water this little mystery Anthurium. I'm so sad that that's happened. I was so conscious when I potted it up of not wanting to give it too much soil and overwhelm the little root system, but I think because I didn't give it much soil at all in the end, it's dried out so quickly. Fingers crossed for that one, because I was very excited about that. Oh God. I've got some Anthurium seedlings here that are just half dead. I need to give them a really good chop back actually, and I don't know if this is so. I'm not gonna sit here and do that with a knife, so I'm gonna just keep that out and come back to it. Well, this is good though, the Schismatoglottis SP Silver Borneo. I chopped this one right back about maybe a couple of months ago now. I chopped it right back because I found spider mites and it was literally covered, and I was like, oh God, right, let's just start again. And because I hadn't had this plant that long, I've only had it for about 5 months, I was like, maybe this is just a really spider mitey prone plant, and do I keep it in my cabinet? And I kind of wondered if when it grew back it would kind of immediately develop pests, but I can't see any, and it's actually looking really, really healthy. So I'm really happy about that because I think it's visually absolutely stunning. It's one actually that I don't know why more people don't have, like I never know if it's Schismatoglottis or Schismatoglottis, but I think it's such a lovely genus. There's so many incredible varieties of plant within it, and this one is just gorgeous. It's almost got calathea vibes. Then the last one that I wanted to water through is my Anthurium clarinervium here, which I can see has got some fungus gnats. I don't have any nematodes currently, and I don't have any soil to do a soil change, so I am just going to have to water it through. But then obviously discard the water and not use it again for other plants because I don't want it spreading. Oh yeah, I'm just watering it and I can see adults flying off the top layer of soil. I did see a few fungus gnats in my cabinet and I wondered where they were coming from, and so this makes sense. Although I don't have any nematodes at the moment, I have got some yellow sticky traps, so I think I'll probably put them around this plant in the cabinet, and hopefully that can at least deal with the adults fairly quickly. whack myself on the face with the inflorescence. I've been being really careful not to like brush that against anything because it's covered in pollen and I do want to harvest the pollen. I feel like I'll probably have it all over my face now. Right, okay, last stretch. Let's clean this top section and make it look beautiful. That looks so good. There is nothing more satisfying than finishing a deep clean. That looks absolutely amazing. I'll turn you around so you can properly see. Yeah, just look at that. That makes so much difference. And everything in there just looks sparkling and clean and lovely. God, I'm glad that's done. Oh, I don't know about you guys though, but I am absolutely knackered. I feel so happy. Oh, you know, I'm just gonna sit on the floor. Hello. I feel so happy that I've got through so much today. Hello, don't sniff my armpit. But yeah, I'm so ready to stop now. But if you're still watching this, if you've been doing stuff as well and you've got this far, I'm very impressed. Comment the plant pot emoji down below, this one just here. Comment that down below if you're still watching. And if you are, I so hope you got through lots of stuff as well. And I really hope you come away from whenever you're watching this morning, this afternoon, whatever it is, feeling like you've achieved, because that was a lot. Oh, hello, thank you. But yeah, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Yoli does as well. And if you did, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video.
Stay sexy, plant lovers.